The US dollar is at the foundation of international economic power. But that foundation is starting to show some cracks. And as Donald Trump smashes the rules of the global trading order, Europe would like to see its own currency, the euro, challenge the dollar's worldwide influence. But it might literally lack the guns to get there. We'll get there in a bit. Since the start of the year, investors have been selling the US dollar in favor of the euro. So it kind of makes sense that some in the European Union are starting to think that
the ongoing changes create the opening for a global euro moment.
That's Christine Lagarde, the Eurozone's top money manager.
And this is a prime opportunity for Europe to take greater control of its own destiny.
The Eurozone stands to gain a lot if more businesses and people use the euro internationally. The hope is it would make transactions cheaper and reduce the bloc's dependence on the US. For example, when deciding to cut other countries off from international finance. At the moment, about half of all exports in the world are invoiced in dollars. While the euro accounts for 30%, trailing behind are the British pound, the Japanese yen, and the Chinese renminbi. So the euro is already the most viable alternative to the US dollar as a global currency, especially if investors were to lose further trust in the dollar. But to get there, investors would need things with a euro price tag to put their money into. That usually means government bonds, slices of public debt. But massively increasing that pile isn't politically feasible in Europe right now, especially with France embroiled in a debt crisis and little consensus in common European borrowing, which means investors looking to bet on Europe won't be getting their supply of assets anytime soon. But even that would only be one part of the solution.
For Europe to be able to exert power through the monetary system, it would probably also need to have greater sort of hard power to back that up.
Hard power is usually the military. To get a sense for what that means, let's travel back in time. During the Cold War, the US threatened to withdraw its troops from Europe if the Europeans didn't help prop up the dollar. That pressure eased in 1967 when the head of Germany's central bank sent a letter to the Americans pledging to play ball, because the Germans wanted to keep the US military umbrella intact. And that link between security and the dollar still exists today. Central banks around the world usually keep some other currencies in their vaults as reserves. Foremost, the US dollar. Countries that depend on the US for security tend to hold a lot more dollars in their vaults, supporting the dollar's grip on the world. Because the foundation of international power as we know it is cast from a combination of monetary and military reach. People like Christine Lagarde acknowledge that. But in the 26 years since the euro's birth, politicians have again and again argued for a greater role of the currency without changing much at the foundation.